If I could tell the next generation and I tell my younger guys right now is just be a sponge. You really have to be a sponge in this game. If you're not a sponge, it's going to show. I'm more so got to calm myself down so that I can perform instead of amp myself up. I'm always ready to go, so I just be having to calm myself down a little bit. So I'm more of on the R&B side of it a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Look at me. Bench Mob, they're speaking the facts that you wanna hear. They're ripping jersey, the vision is clear. Diamonds glisten like a chandelier. You know what I'm here for, like Marshawn Lynch. At clutch time, we do not flinch. Real brothers, we do not switch. Hit home runs with the right pitch. Who run the city? What to do when they hating on you? I feel like Kobe 2010. I ain't taking an L, all I need is a win. Business is business, you know how they go. They playing the seats, now it's time to grow. Tune in now, gotta be in the know. Showtime, bitch, my about to blow.
I ain't seen from now. But she was really trying to tell you. Bench Mob Podcast. What's up, bro?
Yeah, welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of the Bench Mob Ent. Today we got on Kevin Walker. We appreciate you hopping on with us. How are you doing?
Hey, what's up? What's up? What's up, Bench Mob fam? Hey, man, everything's going good, man. Enjoying spring break right now, like I just told you, and just trying to recharge, man, right now. So can't complain.
Before we get into it, you already know the house rules. Follow, like, subscribe, rate us 5 stars, leave a review, give a little background. This is a state champion, over 2,000 points scoring in high school and college, straight bucket getter. And for those that watch this, he's won multiple championships in different NJ leagues, Hoopville, Jungle Run, Jersey, everywhere. Kevin Walker, bucket getter, really, really talented point guard. I want to start with this. What's your origin story with basketball? Where did it start for you?
Oh, basketball is one of those natural things for me. It just came natural. I think I probably started playing basketball maybe around like 4 or 5 years old. It was just something that came natural and something that just drew my attention from an early age, and it just stuck. Just what I mean, being good at something just naturally, things like that just stick. So that's definitely where it started. The ball was just put in my hands from, you know what I mean, my dad, my older brother, people like that. So it was kind of like a family thing, kind of inherited in a way.
So starting off, going back to 4 years old to where you're at now, who have been some players that you, during this part of your life with growing up, that you looked up to, that you tried to model your game after?
I would say my number one, my biggest influence, a little backstory is the thing that I like when I started to know about the NBA and things like that. My first favorite player was Kevin Garnett, only because his name was Kevin. I didn't even know too much about what basketball really was. You know what I mean? I just liked him because his name was Kevin Garnett. And when I started to get the game and understand the concept of the game as I got a little older, my go-to was Allen Iverson. Just being the smaller point guard, noticing that there's guys towering over me and things like that, I started to draw more towards Allen Iverson for sure.
AI was definitely that guy. Easy. I don't know, even centers, people that play center loved AI. Like AI was that guy on and off the court. It was just completely different, man.
That's a fact.
At this point, you played a lot of basketball. What about the game of basketball do you love the most?
I probably haven't. This is probably the first time I've been asked that question. And honestly, from a mature standpoint, from an older standpoint, I think what I love about basketball is that there's no end to it. Like there's always a way to become a better basketball player. Like no matter who you are, there's the most talented players in the world right now who in the off season work on their craft. Like there's always something. There's no ceiling to basketball. So I think that's the most unique thing about it. And I'm sure that's like that in other sports too, but when it comes to basketball, there's always something, you know what I mean, you can improve on. And I think from a mature standpoint, when we're younger, we think we're the best. We think we got it all figured out. But when you get older and you see the game from a different lens, I would say that's probably what I love about basketball the most, for sure.
Yeah, I've seen playing against you multiple times. You always try to add something to your game, and you look at the best players in the world. That's what they do. You look at the Kobe's of the world. He comes back the next season. Now he could do left-handed fadeaway. Like it's
Right, right,
always it's
right, right.
always something to add to it. Now you went through high school, like I mentioned. You had the 4 county championships. You had the state championship. Over 1,000 points scored. You went to Caldwell University. Could it have been any other school? And what was that recruiting process like for you?
Looking back, I I feel personally maybe just a bit under recruited. I wasn't on the AAU circuit as much. Coming from like a small town of Bayonne, right before the social media and everything took off, it was like we didn't know much about it. We didn't know much about AAU, and I got a single parent home, so it was hard to get all the way out of town to get to practices and stuff like that. So I was really limited on my being able to perform in the AAU circuit. So I think that played a big role in it. I had coming out of high school, I only had a couple of Division II schools. Do I feel like I maybe could have? Do I feel like I was a high level Division I? No, not at the time that I was in high school, and the players and the talent level that I was a part of. But I would definitely say a low level Division I school. I definitely could have. I definitely think I could have competed there. So I would say under recruited in that sense, coming out of high school. Looking back, I wish, we always wish we could have did things a little differently. But I would definitely say uh, I think I could have competed at that level.
Hey, I didn't see you when you was in high school, but if you had any of what you have now, you definitely could compete at that level. For you, right? For those that don't know, Kevin Walker's game, you've never seen him play. He can shoot. He's a prolific scorer. He can score on all levels, mid-range, 3-point, getting into the finishing. What were workouts like for you growing up to get to where you are now? Like I think one of the best parts of your game is the shooting, right? So what were workouts for you like to get to that point? As you mentioned, undersized guard. That's one of the biggest things. Undersized guards have to be able to shoot, and you can shoot the lights out. What were workouts for you like growing up?
The workout, I would say mostly it was just being consistent in working out. Anybody can go, to the gym and get shots up. You know what I mean? You could do the most basic workouts and things like that. But if you do them once a week or, a couple times a month, you're not gonna, work on the level of consistency that you need to be a good shooter, So I would say just being consistent and just sticking with it daily, not every other day, not once a week, things like that. It was just more on a consistent basis, like every day putting up a certain amount of shots. And I would say I had the privilege of being around really good shooters, like I was when I was a younger player, I was more so just a downhill type of guy. Like I didn't settle, like I didn't, you know what I mean? I didn't really shoot much, it was just downhill and get to the basket because I used my athleticism being small and getting there. But as the level increased and I got to high school and we started playing against, those type of guys, those high level guys, I think I was fortunate enough to be around a couple players who can shoot, really, really, really shoot the ball, So just being in workouts with them and I'm just a visual guy, I'm a visual learner. Even if I'm not asking too many questions, I'm always watching. I'm always, you know what I mean? If I feel like I got a hitch somewhere in my shot or if I'm not doing this right, I need to see it be performed and then I could go do it. So sometimes I'm not the best like listener, like just being able for you to be able to tell me, oh, you got to do this, this, and that. It's like if you show me it, I'll remember it every single time from there, So I think that's what I would say. There's no specific workout, But I would just say, you know what I mean, being a visual learner and just surrounding myself with really good players all the time, just to, you know what I mean, find ways to get better.
Hey, iron sharpens iron. So
Sure.
that definitely is a huge thing. Like you surrounded by people that can't shoot, who's going to?
Right, right. No,
How
that's for
you get
sure. You're gonna think
how
you
you
had
get
it.
better shooting? Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
for
for
sure.
sure. As a point guard for you, what would you say is the most important part of your game that has helped you succeed all the way from middle school, high school, collegiate level, and still now?
I I stand on like I know I could, you know what I mean, score the ball, and I've always been able to since an early age, but for some reason I've always found joy in other kids' excitement when they get a basket. So if I'm the person who got them their basket, like especially at an early age and in Pee Wees and growing up in the PAL and things like that, I always found joy. And after the games, the parents coming up to me like, "Thank you so much, you got my kid a basket." Like, because maybe they're not, you know what I mean, the best basketball player. So I always, from a young age, found joy in assisting. To be honest, just being able to throw a dime and and it definitely go in the hoop. You know what I mean? After you dime and make a good play, I for some reason always found more enjoyment in that than actually scoring the ball. People won't believe that because I get them up right now, you know. But growing up, for sure, I really that's really just been, you know what I mean, one of the most exciting parts about basketball. And it just so happened that that's the position you got to do it the most. So having to do that in high school and at the next level, it was easy because I just, you know what I mean? I am unselfish, you know what I mean? I do like making that one extra pass or diming somebody for a layup, you know? So definitely that.
I can attest to that because every time we look up, you're in 25 leagues. There has to be some level of people like rocking with you for you to actually be on all these teams. Like you share the rock because you got the ball in your hands a lot of time. Nobody likes to play with a job.
No, right.
So the fact
That's
that you keep
cool.
in on these teams and you keep winning on top of that, every time I'm on Instagram, Jungle Runs and Hoopville, I see Kevin's face. Like it's a it's a reason for that. For those that's watching this, the younger generation, anybody that sees this that's in high school maybe, what's one piece of advice you would give to an aspiring athlete to be a collegiate athlete?
I think I wish there was one specific thing, you know? Because if there was, that's how I feel when I hear that. If there was one thing, everybody would be able to do it. You know what I'm saying? There's so many things. And that's probably if I have to sum it all up into one thing, it would be to try your best to obtain all the things that are needed to be able to compete at that level. Because if it was one thing, there would be a lot more, you know what I mean? There would be a lot more people being able to compete at that level. But it's not easy to retain all that stuff and all the information, all the strategies that go into basketball and all the things you have to do behind the scenes when it comes to basketball. If there was only one specific thing, then it would be a lot easier, you know. So if I could tell the next generation and I tell my younger guys right now is just be a sponge. You really have to be a sponge in this game. If you're not a sponge, it's gonna show because I'm somebody and I believe in those basketball gods, you know. I believe in that if you put the work in, something's going to come out for you. Like you'll be rewarded in some way. That's how the game works. So if you could be a sponge and obtain all the information from the people, you know what I mean, that just been through it all already, then that's one thing I would definitely, you know what I mean, hound my guys on being able to do. Because I wish I was more of a sponge when I was younger. We always think we know it all already. So again, if I could do it all over again, I would listen a little bit more, you know, and I definitely think things could have been a little better. You know what I mean? It could always be a little better. So I would definitely say that right now is be a sponge for sure.
That's all facts. I can attest to that. Yeah, I should have listened a little bit more. For
Right,
sure.
right.
For sure. And to the point of what you're saying, like the more complete players, that can do multiple things, what you see at that pro level, those players always have a job because everybody's not going to be LeBron, Kobe, MJ. You need the Alex Caruso's of the world. You need the Pat Bevs of the world. So if you only focusing on one part, that then limits you, i.e. Duncan Robinson. What if you having a shooting slump? You ain't bringing nothing else to the table. You can't play. Being more complete is way more important. We're going to get off the show with the segment called the fourth quarter. Some fun questions, some rapid fire. What's your go-to meal? What's your favorite thing to eat?
Favorite thing to eat? Ooh. I would say my mom's baked ziti. My mom's baked ziti. If I'm being just quick about it, yeah, my mom's baked ziti for sure.
Baked ziti slaps.
Not the healthiest, so don't.
Oh yeah.
Nobody get me on that, but yeah, that's number one though for sure.
Hey, you just gotta have a smaller portion. That's it.
Yeah, that's. You gotta watch out for them carbs, man.
Right. So, what's your favorite song to listen to pregame?
Favorite song? Hey, I don't want nobody laughing at me, but I'm an R&B guy. Like I don't get hyped up by the all the craziness. To be honest with you, I'm an R&B guy, so I throw a playlist on and whatever comes. Like I don't have that one specific. I'm more so gotta calm myself down so that I can perform instead of amp myself up. I'm always ready to go. So I just be having to calm myself down a little bit. So I'm more of on the R&B side of it a little bit. You know what I mean?
Hey,
Nothing too crazy.
Funny enough, I'll be mixing the R&B before the game too. Like you said, I don't need to be up here.
Right.
I think even Russ said that. Russ listened to a little R&B, a little country. Like Russ,
Right.
obviously, he don't need to get hyped up. So
Exactly.
I think it depends on your personality, who you is. But I'm rocking with the R&B for sure.
No, right.
Now you've played a lot of basketball against a lot of players, a lot of great competition. If you had to choose 2 or 3 people, who's the best players that you've played against?
Oh well, my number one, and it's my boy. We've probably been playing against each other since about 7th grade. I would say Miles Mack. Miles Mack, hands down. That's somebody I would say since an earlier age of us playing together that I always, you know what I mean, became a visual learner from. Like I wanted to know like how he was so effective in this and that. And we were fortunate enough we played against each other probably about 2 or 3 times in high school as well. So he played at Patterson Catholic, and when they shut down, he came over to St. Anne's. So I would definitely say Miles Mack for sure. Us being the same age and competing against each other a lot of times since we were in 7th grade, I would definitely say him for sure.
Who wins?
I would also say was Kyle Anderson too. Me and him played football and basketball against each other. Again, he was at Patterson Catholic, same with Miles. They were together. But I played against him in football as well. So like we got history too. But those guys, you see somebody like Miles Mack overseas right now playing at a high level, and then you got Kyle Anderson just played in a play-in game. You know what I mean? Just what do you have, 30 and like 13 or something like that the other day? So these are guys that like I've not just, you know what I mean, walked past before, played once or twice. Like I've played against these guys, you know what I mean, a lot of my life. So I would definitely say those guys for sure.
Slow-mo.
My guy, man.
League. Shout out to Jersey. Still in the league. Still, to your point of having that complete game. He could do a little bit of everything.
Absolutely.
He could do a little bit of everything. And that's why he keep a job.
That's for sure, man.
Kyle Anderson for sure. Who wins Eastern Conference, Western Conference, and then who's your finals pick?
All right, let's just take away from the fact that I'm a LeBron fan. Let's just put that aside, man. I'm a LeBron guy, man. I've been, you know what I mean. I went from Kevin Garnett to Allen Iverson right to LeBron. All right, so wherever he went, I wanted to see him win. But I would definitely say coming out the East, I'm having a tough time with Milwaukee and Boston. I think it's going to be they're going to have to clash again for sure. And then that West is up, man. It's up for grabs. If I could give one team, I really would. I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, but I really don't know. That thing could go any way, you know.
Wide
It
open.
could go any way when it comes over to that West, man. But I would say one of the series I'm looking forward to watching is the Cleveland
Knicks.
The Cleveland Knicks series. I'm looking forward to that. I want to see Jalen Brunson and Donovan Mitchell go at it. I want to see that. So that's what I'm looking forward to watching. I'm gonna be tuned in.
Saturday night, locked in on that one.
Sure, man.
For sure. Start bench cut. AI, Steph, Damian Lillard.
Oof. Oof. You know, I'm going with my guy, AI. I'm rocking with him. And not just because he's my favorite, but if I got to look down to three, I'm going to definitely go AI to start. Oof. Man, Stephon Marbury's a killer, though. But, man, it's just in this day of basketball, I'll bench Damian Lillard, and then I'll have to cut Marbury, man. I was about to call him Star because I had them sneakers, man. That's the guy, bro.
I think we all did. If you had
know?
to say, we got two more and we're going to get you out of here. If you had to say, who's the most underrated guard in the league right now?
Ooh. Most underrated guard. Point guard, or are we talking about just like point guard, shooting guard?
Point guard, shooting guard, most underrated guard, in your opinion.
Oh, man, there's so many. If I have to say off the top, with his consistency, maybe in the last couple years, I would say one of the most underrated guards, I would say, is, believe it or not, somebody like Tyus Jones when I'm talking about point guard. Now, I'm talking about from a consistency standpoint. He comes off the bench and gives awesome minutes for the last 4 years, the last 4 or 5 seasons. Wait, what is it? Yeah, probably like 3 or 4 seasons. Let me be correct. I would say somebody like Tyus Jones is really underrated. You have somebody like LeBron, you know what I mean, speak on him and draw light to somebody like Tyus Jones. I'm still like I'm still a big Austin Rivers guy. You know what I mean? It's just the system and his role plays a big factor in it. But he's my age, and I grew up I've seen him at different circuits and stuff. That guy's the real deal. He's, for our age group, he's one of the trendsetters when it comes to this type of you know what I mean, highlights basketball and mixtapes and stuff like that. He was the guy, you know, so I'm always an Austin Rivers fan. But yeah, Kyle Anderson. I mean, he gets the praise, but he's very underrated at what he does defensively, just being long, just being active. Like, yes, he moves slow and it looks like he's not capable of doing much, but then he goes and does what he did the other night, you know what I mean? But people like those, man, I specifically say when it comes to the NBA that all them guys are good, man. It's just, you know what I mean? When we talk and debate about them, you have to be talking and debating about it at an NBA level, like when you're talking about NBA levels, because I think everybody in the league is capable of getting 30 or getting, you know what I mean, putting up big numbers if they're in the system and the position they need to be in. You know what I mean? The right system that caters to their game. That's all.
Nah, that's facts, because Kevon Looney, people don't know. Go watch his UCLA highlights. The man was dribbling and setting up the offense, hitting threes. He averaged like 22, 25 at UCLA. Kevon Looney, perfect example of that. But when you come to the league, you got to play your role. He don't do that. You mentioned Tyus Jones. Before LeBron even said that, if you don't know about Tyus Jones, he's literally, LeBron said was facts. For the last 5-6 years, he's led an assist to turnover ratio.
Right.
Off of the bench.
Off the bench.
And then they literally did not miss a beat when Ja went out because of a Tyus Jones.
Yeah.
And that's the last 2-3 years. If Ja go out, he not available, we good. We got Tyus.
Right.
Literally holds down the fort every single time. One of the most consistent, reliable point guards probably in this last decade that does not get talked about. I'll say it, call it a hot take, whatever, but if you watch games and understand basketball, Tyus Jones, I take him on my team any day of the week.
Right. Plays the point guard position the way it's supposed to be played, for sure.
Any day of the week. Last one before we get you out of here. Again, we thank you for taking time out of your schedule to hop on with the Bench Mob Ent. What record do you think gets broken first? The LeBron all-time scoring record or Steph's three-point record?
Yo, these are great questions, man. These are thought-out questions.
Because nobody thought Kareem's record would get broken. Obviously, Steph broke the record with threes, but with how the game is now, Keegan Murray just had the most three-pointers of a rookie. So the game is continually evolving with the three. So which one do you think gets broken first?
But then you have the thing that makes that like challenging for me is then you have like somebody like Shai from OKC, who's like the youngest player to average a 30 in a season, you know? So if people that young are on a consistent basis like that, then that makes it up. But the thing that makes me say the 3-point record is, again, the longevity. I don't know how many people are going to be able to last as long as LeBron has, you know what I mean? But with the way, you know what I mean, technology is evolving, and the way these guys can rehab and take care of their bodies, if they do it, they, you know what I mean, it can. So that is an awesome question, man. That is a challenging question. But if I had to choose, I would probably say, yeah, maybe the 3-point record. I think that can get broken first before, you know what I mean, before a 20-year-long career has to be put in to be able to break 38,000, you know? So I would definitely say the 3-point record, for sure.
Yeah, that's facts. It's a lot of bucket getters, but you gotta stay healthy. KD was in that conversation where, hey, he probably break the record, but he wasn't healthy. Same thing with Cole. At end of that year, that career, you know, was an injury-ridden type of situation. But we appreciate you hopping on.
Thank you, man.
We appreciate you taking time out. For those that's watching, make sure you share this with a friend. There was a lot of gems in there, a lot of wisdom in there, especially for the younger generation. Make sure you subscribe, rate this 5 stars, leave a review. Yeah, I know the vibes though. If you stay ready, you don't got to get ready. Bench Mob, we out. Peace.